And Chris, I want to just ask you the importance of remembering black history and the importance of the impact that it's had in our society, and especially in the NBA.
Yeah, I think all history is important, and for the kids that I speak to, I think African American history is important because it lets the kids see what others had to go through to get to where they were. So if I have a young child in Detroit that really has no means or anything, and I show them Frederick Douglass and how he had no means and he could read, or young ladies Phyllis Whitley, I just think the stories are stories of encouragement and perseverance, and any child today needs to hear them for how tough this world is. And those stories really help you persevere and keep going. So that's why we retell the stories of the greats and what they've gone through and how they've helped us, so that the rest of the kids can pay it forward and pay it back.
Talk about the museum.
The Charles H. Wright Museum is the largest African American history museum in the world, and my pieces are housed there. I'm proud to be a part of that museum. It has some wonderful pieces, and just because they're for African American pieces doesn't mean they're for everybody. They are for everybody, so they have wonderful exhibits, and I'm proud to house my pieces there at the Charles H. Wright Museum.
And talk about who's been the biggest impact in your life and causing you to be who you are as far as an African American leader.
Yeah, I would say my parents had to be the biggest impact. My mother was a teacher, and my father, who worked in the auto factory over 40 years, so I had both blessings of an educated mother and a hard-working dad, and it really taught me a lot. It taught me that it's all about hard work and make sure you learn as much as you can. So I just thank my parents for their example, and hopefully I'm doing a good job paying it forward for them.
Well, Chris, you're doing a great job. Keep up the good work, man.
Thank you so much.
All right.
Thank you. Thank you very much. Thank you.
At Dwight Howard, Houston Rockets. Dwight, talk about Black History Month, the impact, the importance, the perpetuation and advancement, and the continuation, and what has inspired you?
Well, I think it's significant that we all celebrate Black History Month and understand that there's a lot of people that came before us who've done an excellent job of paving the way, so we can have freedom, so that we can be able to sit in the classroom, next to people of another race. Just the small things, being able to vote, stuff like that is important. And without those people, we would still have some of that hate in this world today, and it's gotten a lot better. The person that has really inspired me, despite nobody really talking about him, is Malcolm X. There was a time where he hated a lot of different people because of their color, and he took a trip to Mecca. He came back and he realized that we're all the same people, and there's no need to hate. Instead of us hating each other, we need to change the way we do things, change the way we live, change the way we view other people. And he's one of those people that really inspired me, to just want to make change.
Are you making a movie?
So thank you, Malcolm X, and thank you for all the people who've made my life and every black person on this planet life better. Thank you.
Thank you, Dwight. Rock here. Want to talk a little bit about Black History Month?
Yes, a lot of people don't know this, but my dad, Julius Christopher Rock, is Black History. My father was the first black man to get into the Truck Drivers Union in New York City. I remember as a kid, like my earliest memories, I remember people calling the house and threatening him, and neighborhood politicians, congressmen coming to the house and briefing him on what he should say the next day when he gives his speeches and stuff like that. The news following him around for like the first month that he was on the job. And yeah, my dad is Black History. Every Black History Month I remember my dad, and a lot of people don't know that he is Black History. The first black man in the Truck Drivers Union in New York City.
And how did that inspire you?
It inspired me that anything is possible. Like if my dad can overcome the things he's overcome from rural South Carolina to New York City to raising 10 children, then I could do anything as well. So I've never had any limits on myself, and there's no limits to what I can do and where I can go in life.
Well, give yourself a shout out.
This is Tony Rock, your favorite comic, Brooklyn.
Monty Williams here, New Orleans Pelicans. Coach, give me your thoughts on Black History Month and the importance of it.
Well, being a black man myself in leadership, I understand that there were a lot of people who paved the way for me to be in this position. We tend to think of Martin Luther King Jr. and people like him, but I also think about my grandfather and people like him and my family that sacrificed a lot for me. They may never be written about. They're never going to be on TV. But there were tons of black people in my family that were just like Dr. Martin Luther King, that sacrificed a ton so that I could go to a better school, have things that they didn't have, and have love and a great home. And so Black History Month for me is about people like Martin Luther King Jr., but it's also about people like Philip Samuel, my grandfather.
Fantastic. And certainly it's been an inspiration for you to reach the level that you have, being an NBA coach.
Yeah, well, I've had a lot of great mentors who are also black Americans. Doc Rivers, Avery Johnson, Nate McMillan.
Right.
Great examples for me to follow. And so I'm not in this by myself. I didn't get here on my own. The Lord has blessed me with a ton of people who have poured into my life, so I have God to thank for the examples I've had throughout my career.
Fantastic. Thank you, Coach. Let's talk about it. It's Black History Month. And so what are your thoughts on the importance and the impact of all that has transpired to the current day, movement or activity and the progression in Black History Month?
I think it means a lot. When I was in college, when Obama first got elected to be the president, I called my mom and she cried because she was back when the civil rights movement was going. And I'm sorry to put my age on my mom, but she was back during that time. So we talked about it a lot, and I think that meant a lot. But just to see the impact it meant on her, it really made me reflect and helped me know what the times were like and what we came to. So the people like Martin Luther King and Malcolm X and Rosa Parks and all the founders and the forefathers and everybody that got us to this point, it's monumental. So it's like any of my children coming up, is to really let them know about anything that where we came from and where we're at now. It means a lot.
And talk about the current day status of the Black History Month. Do you think there needs to be more emphasis on it, just besides just 1 month?
Definitely, I think it should be talked about more than just 1 month, even though we had a month of this to celebrate. We talked about, especially in the NBA, but I think that in schools and throughout anywhere, I think everybody should know more about it. It's just that 1 month is not doing any justice, just to give us just that 1 month just to talk about. I think we should be talking about throughout the whole year because we came a long way.
Very good. Thank you, Coach Mike Brown, Cleveland Cavaliers head coach. Coach, give us your opinion and thoughts and inspiration of Black history and Black history leaders.
You know what? There were a lot of great Black history, a lot of great leaders out there, and there are plenty that you can choose from to help say that they gave you inspiration. But for me, I look at my father. My father was a leader in our household, and the stuff that he showed me, raising me in terms of being a man, and being a family man, providing the right way for your family, raising your kids the right way, the work ethic that he displayed on a daily basis, I believe gave me the most inspiration to help me get to where I am right now, and I couldn't be more appreciative of having him as my dad.
And who was as far as your dad, and what other leaders may have inspired you to get to the position you are as a head coach, and how can we give something to the youth coming up in the generation to follow?
I think the biggest thing is make sure that we all continue touching the young generation. Just going and being present in a lot of different areas is a big enough thing to give guys or to give the youth of today inspiration to try to achieve great things. For me, you look at a guy like Martin Luther King and all the trials and tribulations that he went through. That helps me not be afraid, because when I look at the stuff that he went through and how he stood strong and tall, that's nothing compared to what I'm going through in today's world. And so you appreciate that. Another guy is Bernie Bickerstaff, a guy on my staff. When I was in college, I looked up to him because he was an African American that had success in the NBA. It was something that I dreamed about doing, and he didn't play in the NBA. So he gave me inspiration and to follow my dreams and to achieve the position that I am right now. So, there are a lot of people out there that you can kind of hold on to or grasp something from or take something from in order to help you grow as an individual. And I did that with my dad and Bernie and a few others.
Fantastic. Thank you, Coach. Good success going forward.
Thank you.
Hey, we have Coach Bernie Bickerstaff here after the Cleveland Clipper game. Let's talk about Black history. Give me your thoughts and what inspired you and what is your motivation as you come through the league and been around a long time. So let's hear your words of wisdom.
You know, I think those who've been before us, and I think that's something that's missing now. I think a lot of the younger kids don't have an idea about the history. Those who paved the way, the Russells, the Robertson, and I think those guys are very important, in terms of what they did, what they went through. Even the guys who went free agents, or the guys who came out of college earlier, the Spencer Haywoods, and the Ralph Simpsons, I think those type of kids. And, so those are the ones who I respect because they paved the way for us. They created an opportunity which made it a little easier for us. I mean, it's still tough, but they made it a little easier for it, and I think that's what we have to do as Black. We have to continue to strive, continue to succeed, and make it easy for those who come behind us. They take one along with them.
Right. And you're mentioning parents.
Well, parents those are the role models. I mean, they want athletes to be role models.
Right.
That person who sits across the table from you, who provides a meal for you, I think those are your role models. I want to be the role model for my kids.
Very good. Well, thank you, Coach.
Okay.
Good success. I have Coach Ty Corbin talk about what Black History Month means to you and what significant impact maybe that you can relate and share with us as far as it has had in your life and your career.
Well, I think that the most special thing about it is thinking about all the people that came before me, the sacrifices they made so we can enjoy the life and livelihood that we as African Americans have in this country now. I think it's a tremendous honor for this country to honor those that's come before us and the sacrifice they made so that we can have the rights that we enjoy today.
And talk about possibly the future. Martin Luther King mentioned living the dream, that I have a dream. How do you see the dream existing and manifesting in today's society?
The opportunities that we have are because of the sacrifices that a lot of folk before us have given to us, but we can't afford to forget about those things going forward. We've got to make sure we recognize the history and continue to work to make it better for the generation behind us.
Thank you, Coach.
Thank you very much.